So since you are all in a space of learning right now, I want you to kind of hold a little bit more confidence, right? Just like you would in class when you know exactly what the answer is, right? So when you raise your hand, it's not like this. It's not like this, right? It's like this, right? So if we're all learning, right? It's okay to not know the answer, right? But again, no one's going to embarrass you, right? Everyone's here because we all want to learn from one another, right? So this is going to be a little bit more interactive, right? So can everyone just like raise their hand high, just so I know your hands work, right? Your arms work, right? So this is what it looks like to know the answer and to want to contribute, right? We should all be wanting to engage and participate in our learning, right? So my name is Haben. What I'm going to talk about is mentorship, right? Now I know that Zara would like to start a mentorship program very soon, which is going to be great for everyone here. Now I know some of you guys are transitioning to college. That doesn't mean that you can't still participate in mentoring, right? So a little bit of my background. So I grew up in Maryland, Squam Park, Silver Spring. I got a bachelor's degree in accounting, and I have a master's in international development, mostly community engagement, diaspora engagement. So I currently work as an accountant, but I also helped co-found the Eritrean Youth Mentorship Program. So I don't know if you guys know about that, but it started about 5 years ago, where we wanted to kind of help Eritreans, do mentoring in a way that both helped on educational, career, social growth, but then added this Eritrean-ness to it so that we could kind of learn from one another. Started off slow, about 5 kids, and then now it's kind of grown. So some of you may be in the program, may have been in the program, maybe know someone in the program, but it's growing, and soon with some synergy with the Zara team, we're going to bring mentorship to you all, right? So I guess I'll begin by first asking, what is mentorship, right? So again, with our arms, can anyone just give me your interpretation of mentorship? No wrong answers. I know your arms work. Anybody? Again, this is the space of learning. Let's contribute. Speak up.
To advise someone.
To advise someone, okay? Let me get 2 more. To advise someone. Can I get 1 more? Yes?
To guide somebody to follow your path.
To guide someone to follow your path. All right, let me get 1 more. I didn't see your hand. To teach someone. Okay, so all of those are right? So mentorship can be whatever you need it to be, right? For you to kind of to learn and advance in a certain discipline that you want to advance, right? So it helps basically expedite growth. Now, there are a lot of different types of mentoring, right? I could go to a mentor who maybe is in a career that I like. And I say, how do you do that? I want to learn how to do that, right? Then if I were to do it on my own, it would take 10, 15, 20 years. Maybe I can ask for particular tweaks and advice to get there a little bit faster. Now there's career, there's educational. Hey, you know more about this subject than me. Can I learn from you, right? Let's say another example, maybe there's someone who is more maybe socially advanced than you are, and you say, well, I want to learn how to be more confident. I want to learn how to talk to more people and relate to more people, right? There are different aspects of mentoring. It's not just about school. It's not just about my job. It can be about a lot of different things. Whatever areas that you guys kind of feel that you are maybe lacking or a little deficit in, you can go find someone who's maybe a little bit more advanced there and say, hey, I kind of want to learn from you, right? That is both complimentary, but it also shows a certain level of humbleness that we have to have when we are learning. None of us here and nobody ever in this room has ever been to a place where they were just immediately, in the know or advanced on a subject. You have to start from ground zero, right? You have to do the work, just like Dr. Gideon said, right, to get there. And mentorship is a way to kind of help expedite where you want to end up. So there's a difference between parents and mentors, right? So parents, yes, can be mentors. They play a different role, but mentors are sort of your second parent, right? These are people you choose in trying to learn a specific thing. Where parents are just trying to guide you through life as a whole, mentors will give you that specific kind of, navigational route on how to get to where you want to get a little bit faster. Let me ask a question. Does mentorship need to be part of a program? Do you need to be part of the Zara program to be a mentee or to be a mentor? Can I get your hand? You said, I see you waving your head. No, right? No. You don't have to be part of a program to have a mentor, right? And you don't have to be a mentee as part of a program, right? You can do it. You can do it right now. You can walk up to someone, a counselor, a teacher, a family friend, and just say, hey, can I learn from you? Can you be my mentor, right? It's as easy as that. It doesn't need to be arranged, right? Someone doesn't need to match you and say, hey, you and you, go learn something. Does not need to be like that. So we need to kind of break our kind of idea of what it is to kind of have a mentorship bond, right? Next, the value of mentorship. So let me get again 3 people to tell me, what is the value of mentorship? What can you get out of it other than what it is? So 3 people. Yes. Knowledge. Okay, so knowledge. What else? Say it again? Provides you a support system. Let me get one more.
You can avoid the mistakes that your mentor made.
You can avoid the mistakes that your mentor made, right? So all of those are great answers, and they do contribute to the value of mentorship. So you gain a lot from having someone who's already done sort of the stuff that you want to do, right? Not only can you have that direct feedback and advice, right? You essentially build your community a little bit larger, right? These can be people who already exist in your community, or they can be people outside, right, of those networks. But eventually what happens is, you build this relationship and bond that you probably will never forget about. I mean, I myself growing up, I know a lot of my mentors, right? I may not speak to them because it was for a certain stage of my life, but I can literally jot down my mentors growing up from, people like that you don't know, but for me, they hold very significance. Jacob Scott, Beatrice Rowland, Maria Jimenez, right? These are people I know who have taught me, right? And I know everybody in this room has some informal or formal mentor. When they hear mentorship, that comes to mind and say, yeah, I did learn a lot from that one person, right? And let alone if they still speak to that person or not, or however that relationship is, there's a certain idea. We've all gone through that process. So we don't want to shortchange the contributions that these other people have helped in sort of, kind of bridging that route to where we want to go. The exposure, right? Mentorship helps you get exposed to these ideas and tricks you never heard before, right? And I know you guys heard the expression, right? Like the devil's in the detail. And sometimes you can have this really massive problem that's so big, and you're just like, what do I do? What do I do about this thing? And sometimes someone needs to bring you down to earth and say, hey, just change this, do this, and you're doing fine, right? We all need motivation and encouragement. And although our parents provide great encouragement, sometimes we do need to hear it from people outside of our immediate household, right? Community is one thing, our extended family is one thing, our school system is one thing, but that other missing piece sometimes can be just a well-to-do person who wants to kind of assist in your growth, your development, right? And again, not only school and not only career, but it can be very, very, wide range. And then last, I want to talk about how to find a mentor, right? So 3 people, how do you find a mentor? Come on, how do you find a mentor? Okay.
And I went to pursue the medical track and study in University of California. She's a black woman in STEM, so I was like, oh, that's something I can relate to, and I became a mentor.
Yeah.
And my other mentor is my teacher on my high school, and
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, this is something.
Perfect. Perfect. Right. So one through school and another through the STEM program, you said, right? Okay. So those are two different ways, right? So just literally walking up to someone, right? That's what you did with your first person, right? And then through school, right? What's another way to find a mentor? I want just two more people. You don't have to give a personal anecdote. You can if you want to, but how do you find a mentor? This is a place of learning. There's no wrong answer. How do you find a mentor?
Through a mentorship program.
Through a mentorship program, right? That was easy. All right, one more. How about a family? How about a family friend, right?
Someone you look up to.
Someone you look up to, right? So anybody you look up to, right? Obviously within your reach, you don't want to pick someone who's like, on TV because you may not be able to, kind of talk to them. But someone within your reach that you look up to, right? That could be a mentor. It doesn't need to be formalized. It can be informal, right? It doesn't need to be, hey, can you be my mentor? Yes. No, it could be an informal arrangement where you go to someone for advice. And you can keep doing it. You can keep doing it. There's no problem in saying, hey, how do you do this one thing that you did? And then you ask again and you ask again. Although that is informal, it's not necessarily someone said like, this is a mentor-mentee, but it still has the same spirit involved. Now let me ask you a question. Does your mentor have to be older than you? Yes or no? Does your mentor have to be older than you? No, they don't. They don't. Because then you would say, between all of us here, Dr. Gideon would clearly be the best mentor, right? Because he's more mature, he's more seasoned, he knows more, right? But it depends on what you want to know about, right? Now, if you're going to, kind of modern, something more modern, technical in terms of technology or social media, although I don't want to call Dr. Gideon out, but he's probably the best person to go to for mathematics. Now, if you're talking about any other discipline like law, like nursing, all mentors are not the same. You want to go to someone who is in the specific sort of discipline or field that you want to learn from. And yes, can someone younger than you have mastery? Yeah, of course, absolutely. It always works like that. The older you get, it doesn't mean that there's less people to learn from. It just means that you just got to understand what you fundamentally need to grow in, and then you go find those people, right? Now, I know at a younger age, there's probably more people who know more than you than there are you that know more than other people. But as you grow, right, you'll start to realize that, anybody can be a mentor and mentee, right? I know we got 2 minutes left, but can you pay your mentor? Can you pay your mentor?
No.
If you pay them, are they a mentor?
No, because no.
No. Okay, just no. Anyone else? Can you pay your mentor?
No, because if you were able to pay your mentor, that would be like, for example, you ask someone, what to get? Cashier says something, you pay them. That's not a.
Yeah.
That's just a suggestion.
It makes it transactional, right? It's like I'm at CVS and I'm like, here, let me get a mentor with my Pepsi, right? So it's a little up and down. Technically, yeah, you can pay your mentor. Doesn't matter. What you want to do though, if you're not going to pay them, right, is that you want to show appreciation, reciprocity, right? You want to be thankful, right, and be grateful that someone is willing to do that. So you want to really respect our relationship and say, well, like, hey, if this is someone who's going to guide me and I can go to them, let me make sure that I show appreciation, right? So paying them, yeah, there's no problem with it, but there are other ways to show appreciation in that same vein. And then really the last thing I'm going to leave with you guys is to just be intentioned, right? Like be very self-aware of what you are good at and not good at. You want to get a mentor that you are trying to better yourself in, right? So if you're already an expert in something, then it's okay to go mentor in that, but maybe you'll kind of get more gains if you go to someone who you need more help in, right? Like I'm sure there are subjects that you guys highly excel in, but then there are probably some other subjects that you probably suck. And for those subjects, you may want to find a mentor and say, hey, I want to learn from you. I want to learn about this. I want to learn about, school-related stuff. I want to learn about, just social stuff. I want to learn about being Eritrean. I want to learn about, being a better soccer player, being a better athlete, anything, right? So I kind of will close off there and just saying that mentorship can be a lot of things, and don't box yourself in. And that to my first point, I want you guys to continue to engage and participate with your learning, right? This is a space of learning, so let's just, as you would a mentor, if you're not going to pay them, you're going to be appreciative and grateful, right? So let's kind of show it both ways. So any last questions on just mentorship as a whole, or any general thoughts that you guys want to share? Oh, okay. All right, great. All right. Thank you all.
All right, thank you, Hagen. So next we have Selena Brahane. She is a student at Villanova University.
I think it's good, yeah. Thank you. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Selena Brahane. I am currently a senior nursing student at Villanova University up in Peace and Justice. So my whole thing that I'm going to be talking about today is the transition from your senior year of high school into freshman year of college, and just kind of what my experience has been, any advice I have, and just what to focus on. So your senior year of high school is very chaotic, to say the least. There's a lot of things thrown at you. You're starting your college applications, your PSATs, SATs, and so I just wanted to give a little speech on that. So my senior year, I got involved in leadership positions, and I suggest in your senior year of high school, just getting involved in things that you're passionate about, and using that as your route to just find yourself in positions that look good on your resume. And so I think you guys take the PSAT in your fall semester of your senior year, and I know it may not be serious, but that's a good way to gauge where you're at for your SATs. And then definitely within that semester, starting to do your practice tests on your own, and just taking the SAT. And if you don't get a good score, it's okay, and you can always retake or focus on the areas that are most important to you, or that you need the most help in. And then also I definitely recommend just trying the ACT, because it's more heavily focused on your math and sciences, and if that's what you're better at, I definitely recommend that. And as Petros mentioned, definitely scholarships are a huge thing. You want to talk to your counselors about it, because a lot of people be you can apply for scholarships, but it's hard to find where exactly to do it. And you're all very complex people, and so you can get you can get scholarships for literally anything. So as long as you research it, that is just a route to pay attention to. And I want to talk about college applications. So they kind of come kind of fast. You have your early action deadline, and then it goes into regular decisions. So I would say within your summer, I would really recommend just starting to focus on what speaks to you most in terms of your career and what you want to do. And from there, like kind of narrowing down what matters most to you about a college. Do you care about diversity? Do you care about financial aid? Do you care about location? And like, I wouldn't sell yourself short. Like, whatever you want to find in a college, just like really center that and narrow down your options that way. And that helps with figuring out your FAFSA. And then also, if schools require it, you can use your CSS profile, which is an extra financial aid thing that might be required for you to get more financial aid. So when it comes to choosing a college, it's all about choosing the college that speaks most to you and that you think is going to be your best 4 years and that best brings you onto that path that you're doing. So I chose nursing, and Villanova is just a really good nursing school, and I just have been going there since. So yeah, just looking at the resources and seeing what best fits you. And one thing I also wanted to talk on is letters of recommendation. So with your college applications, they do require you to have, some schools require letters of recommendation. So start kind of narrowing down within your junior year, your senior year, just like what counselors trust you and know you the most, what teachers really know you the most and can write the best recommendation for you, because it just looks really well if you can have someone that like knows you and can speak on your identity. And so into the first year, your freshman year of college, I go to school up in Pennsylvania, so it's completely different from Virginia. There's like no Habeshas. I think there's only 4 of us on campus. It was very sad. Coming from like this area to having not that many Habeshas. And it is a whole different experience. It's all about like putting yourself out there, and as Dr. Gideon really said, like knowing yourself in order to find the people that best like identify with you and just like that are going to be there to support you, because the biggest thing is like your support system that you create in college. And a big thing also is your time management. So in high school, it's easy just to kind of like coast through and you just like, you get your homework done and stuff, but in college, like time management becomes a huge thing, and that's one thing that like I struggled with a lot. And I found that like there's many resources on campus and at your schools that help you figure out like what's the best way to figure out your schedule and how to like manage your time the best, because you want your time to hang out with your friends and explore campus or do other things, but you also like, school is the priority at the end of the day. So you want to make sure that you're putting enough time to do your homework and actually understanding the information, because you don't want to be like the night before a test staying up till 3 a.m. studying. So and I think the work in college is a lot harder at times, and it's a lot more reading. So as I said, I'm nursing. It's a lot of like textbook heavy, just like tests every week. So you have to just make sure that you're just on top of your time and on top of your schedule. So I can always give advice on any like specific resources or like ways that I use to manage my time if anyone has any other questions. And yeah, in terms of like using your resources, as I said, like colleges really do have a lot to offer. And one thing that I learned in my year is, especially freshman year, is like don't be afraid to ask for help. So that is referring to like if you need to go to the counseling center, if you need to go talk to your professors about like, hey, I'm struggling with this assignment, like go to their office hours, like anything possible, and you'll find your different communities like as you go through the years there and figure out like who's there to support you on campus. And also a big thing too in terms of your resources, like your parents are your like number one support system. I can say that for myself. So just always leaning out and having that way of like grounding yourself is really important, because you're again experiencing just a lot of new things, and sometimes like a reminder or like a phone call to home is just like a good way to ground yourself and remember your home. So yeah. And one other thing I wanted to talk about is just like giving grace to yourself. So again, it's a lot of new experiences and you will make mistakes as you go along, but it's just important to just understand that you're in this phase of like learning how to be yourself, learning more about yourself, and like you could make mistakes, but you just have to keep moving forward and learn how to evolve from that. So yeah, I think that is my speech.
Okay, thank you, Selena. By the way, Selena was a member of the Zara community from back in the days, from the early days. So, we just want to acknowledge that for her to come back and give back to the community. And, we expect that from you guys too. So just keep that in mind. All right, so moving to our next speaker, we have Sanai Hailab. She is a professional student advocate, and she will be talking about managing stress and mental health awareness.
Hello everyone, how you guys doing today? You guys are good? I'm nervous, so bear with me. I'm in no way, shape, or form a public speaker, but I love what they were doing here. So I pushed my nervousness aside and I'm gonna try my best, so yeah, you guys are intimidating. All right, so my name is Sunnight. You can call me Sunny, that's what most of my kids call me. And I was asked by members of your organization, huh? Oh, Sunnight, I'm sorry. I was asked by members of the organization to talk about the transitioning into college and how that can have like a toll on your mental health. Sunnight, right here. Dang. I think everyone can hear me. Even if it's here, can you guys hear me in the back? Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so yeah, we're gonna talk about, so, in the Eritrean community, specifically, mental health is very taboo. It's something we don't really talk about. And I think it's because, like, our parents, they're so resilient. Like, they went through everything and they just did it in stride. I asked my dad, he fought in the war, and I was like, do you ever feel anxiety? Like, or do you ever feel stressed? Or he's like, no. And I feel like that's kind of the general consensus from our parents. Like, they don't feel like that. Like, and if they do, they move forward and they keep pushing. I think a lot of it has to do with their faith, because a lot of them, we have some praying parents that are very faith-based. So, but for us, we grew up in the social media age, we grew up in America, we grew up halfway Eritrean, halfway American. In the house, we're Eritrean. In school, it's like we see they get to do all these things, and then we go home and our parents are like, no, no, and no. So, which I just want to say, everything they say no about, you'll be happy for it. If you follow their rules, when you get older, you won't have no regrets. But anyway, moving forward. So, all right, so I'm gonna touch on transition in life. All right, so majority of you guys have a routine from a kid. Like, every single one of you guys have a routine. That routine right now is wake up, eat, go to school, probably get on your parents' nerves, play some sports, and then repeat every single day. And so whenever you're dealing with a transition, I'm assuming everyone in here wants to go to college, I think. I don't think you have a choice, but I was trying to pretend. But yeah, so a shakeup in your routine can cause discomfort. It can cause stress. It can cause stress. Oh my gosh. See, I'm over here just, hold on. All right, this is tough. All right. So it can cause stress. It can cause anxiety. It can cause discomfort. It can cause depression. Now, I want to be clear though. There's a very big difference between being depressed and feeling sad in the moment. Being depressed, like as a disorder, it's long-term and it's